everybody. Thank you for being here. We have some wonderful speakers lined up, and I'd like to introduce, to start us off, Jean-Luc Pierite, who is a member of the Biloxi tribe of Louisiana and board president of NACOB, who's going to offer land acknowledgement for us now and talk about the Indigenous legislative agenda. Welcome.
Thank you to Laura. Thank you to the Super Coalition. I want to acknowledge the land that we stand on, the land that sustains us, the land that supports us. As is our practice at the North American Indian Center of Boston, we recognize this land as the traditional indigenous territory of the Massachusetts Nation, who continue to this day, in part through their lineal descendants, the Massachusetts tribe of Ponkapaw. And in recognizing and acknowledging the land, we are making agreements with our hosts. Even as Indigenous peoples, we position ourselves as guests on this land, and we ask ourselves, what does it mean to be a good guest? And one of those agreements that we make with our host tribe is to support every effort by them to repatriate the land and natural resources back to the original people. Justice can't wait. We came into this year looking to observe the 400th anniversary of the landing of the Mayflower. And while it might be very remarkable that a ship could make it across the Atlantic from Europe to these shores, what is much more remarkable is something that is going to happen April of next year, which is the 400th anniversary of the Treaty of Massasoit. And this is a treaty which started the government-to-government relationships between the indigenous nations, the confederacies that were here on this land, and the peoples that would become the United States of America. And yet when we look back at the past 400 years, how much justice has waited. For almost 35 years, former Representative Byron Rushing has called upon the state to form a commission relative to the seal and motto. That flag flies over us today at half-mast, has a native figure that is a composite. They took the head of Thomas Littleshell, an Ojibwe chief. They took the bones of a Massachusetts person that was excavated from an archaeological dig. And they took the sash from Paul Metacomet, King Philip, who after King Philip's war was beheaded and his head was placed on a pike for 25 years. We have 3 bills that are currently in front of the state legislature. We have the seal and motto, which was unanimously voted out by the Senate, and we are very hopeful for its prospects in the House. We have native mascots, which has made it out of committee, and we are doing everything we can to make sure that it gets to floor votes in both the Senate and the House. And we also have the Protect Native American Heritage Act, which has made it out of committee as well, and we are making sure that there will be a floor vote on all of these initiatives. But these bills alone, while they are submitted alone, they function as a system. They function as a way in which the Commonwealth can improve confidence between state government and indigenous peoples. Talking about going through schools on the sides of school buildings. Most recently in Saugus, we have a new school building that has a huge disembodied head of a Native American on the side of the building. When we graduate from school, if we do, and go out into the public and start becoming civically engaged and looking at police cars, looking at council chambers, looking at courthouses, and we see that seal and motto, what is the Commonwealth telegraphing to its indigenous peoples? Is it something that, are we willing to work together, or is it something that we are telegraphing a culture of white supremacy that has pervaded on these lands since the landing of the Mayflower? and even protecting Native American heritage, asking the state to refine NAGPRA enforcement. Make sure you go to maindigenousagenda.org, find all of the calls to action, all of the bill numbers, and let's make sure that we have a sustainable future and move forward together, united. Thank you.